Rosann, we've known each other for 3 decades.
Yes, a long time.
And you have been a professional counselor.
As you have been a professional counselor, how many people have we known in Hong Kong?
Yes, quite a lot.
So many different people.
And so many changes.
And that's why we want to think about women now and women then, and how women have changed over these years.
That must be very interesting.
Yes.
And it covered different generations.
Always.
Well, if they're interested in what we are talking about, how are they going to find us?
They're going to find us Tuesday night, 9 o'clock, PsychoAlchemy. We are Women Now and Then.
See you there.
Dorothy, we were talking about what you hold on to and what you're willing to let go of.
Yes.
Now, when we were talking about a woman and her biological changes in life, the pregnancy, get rid of the pregnancy clothes, the child and the diapers. What about before that?
Before that.
We have clothes for special occasions.
Yes.
There's prom dresses for girls.
Yes.
Graduation clothes. What about wedding dresses?
Oh, that's the big thing.
What's the story on wedding dresses?
Well, actually, when I first went to the States years ago, and I heard about the Americans, the mother will always, when the daughter is going to get married, the mother will take the daughter to the attic and open up a grand box, and there is this wedding dress for over 30 years. And sometimes it's not just from the mother, it's from the grandmother. And they saw like, now it's time for you to have this wedding gown. Your grandma gave it to me. She wore it in maybe in the early 1990s, 90 or even 80, whatever, 80. And then I have it, and now it's yours. And there are movies about that kind of.
Really?
Yeah. But the thing is, sometimes the style is good. You know, the granddaughter, the daughter is willing to alter the size and wear it. But sometimes the design is so out. So I was thinking, wow, what a great tradition. And also I immediately think, well, the American house is big. They have an attic to put this. I cannot imagine how Chinese can afford it. But then as I age, I realized it's not true. A lot of grandma, when they got married, Chinese had the traditional dress, which is a lot of embroidery, very heavy duty. And they usually, at that time, if the family can afford it, they buy it and they wore it once. And then they might wear it again when they becomes mother-in-law. All right? They can wear it again, but they just change the dress. Original maybe all silver and gold, were very pretty, or sometimes red. But if it's silver and gold, all you have to do is change to a dark color dress. Then you became mother-in-law. And so when your daughter get married, you can give the same thing to your daughter. And it's always the daughter will take it, because this kind of gown, if you buy it, it's very expensive. But now Hong Kong, you can rent it. But if you can rent it. But if you buy it, actually, it's more fit you better, and it's all for yourself. And so funny. And I have a very good friend who is who moved to United States when she was 10, and when she got married, her mother bought her this traditional gown. Her mother didn't have one, but she brought it. But it was so expensive. She got married in New York City in those big Chinatown restaurants. I think she had like 3 days restaurant, a 3-day wedding party, because her in-laws are very famous in Chinatown. And she kept that gown, and she wanted to give it to her daughter, but her daughter was very young then, right? It would take a long time. And actually she just let her friends have it. And her wedding gown, I think at least 10 brides wear it already.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and her daughter is going to get married soon. Maybe early next year, she's going to let her daughter wear it. But before that, my nephew, Matthew, is going to get married the end of the year. So she is going to let his future wife to wear it. So we call this the lucky dress.
The lucky dress.
Yes.
This is
just
wonderful.
Pass it around. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Dorothy, I have no such connection in my memories. I don't know where my mother's wedding dress
Mm-hmm.
is. It was gone. I have a beautiful picture of my mother as a bride, but I have no idea where that it was. White satin, just white satin. But when I was married the first time, I wanted the traditional bride's dress and went shopping with my mom. And such a sweet story. I saw a dress in the style of the traditional Filipino dresses with the big butterfly sleeves.
Yeah.
Oh, I was in love with it. There I was in New York, didn't have any idea it was Filipino, but the beautiful embroidery on the sleeves, I said I wanted that. Well, the dress didn't quite fit the way it should have fit, but my aunt was very good at tailoring.
Oh, right.
And her main idea was, take those sleeves off. Crushed me. Take the sleeves off because she wanted to add the embroidered part on the bottom. So she redesigned the dress. And there I was. I wanted the sleeves, but my mother and my aunt were rather insistent. So I had this beautiful dress with the bodice, and she took the other sleeve and made a headpiece with it.
Oh, I see.
So my aunt was very creative.
Yes.
Very creative. And I looked fine. After a few days, I was happy with it. But the dress, because the dress had been so expensive, silk organza, I decided I needed to use it more.
Oh, yes.
So I dyed it. I tinted it. Took the white dress, and it became a kind of a peach color, pinky orange color,
Yeah, so you could wear
which I wore 3 times out dancing because it was a sleeveless dress and it had a swishy skirt. And I loved it.
Oh, you are very creative.
So my wedding dress became my party dress.
I see.
And now I have no idea where that went. No idea.
Maybe in your sister's home.
Maybe somewhere. But I didn't keep that memory. Then when I was married the second time, I felt I did not need a special dress. I was older, more mature. I was 30, 31. And so I did not choose a wedding dress. I chose clothing I had already. And went to the church in clothing I had already. Went to the reception in different clothing. But there was no special wedding dress because I was thinking, this wedding is part of my everyday.
Yes.
This is how life happens. I don't want a special dress for that.
I see. Okay.
Yet, I had 3 daughters. When each of them got married, they each insisted I get a new dress.
Oh, okay.
For their wedding.
For their wedding, yes.
So, over the generations, what did my mother have? What did I have? What do my daughters have? It's all quite different.
Yes.
All quite different.
Yes.
But it's still the clothes you wear and what they mean. The clothes you wear and what they mean.
And the specialists on tidying up, they said clothing is the easiest, followed by books. And
books for me.
Yeah,
are very
and then
difficult.
I think the next one is more like household things, kitchen, bath, or all those miscellaneous kind of thing.
Yeah.
And actually the hardest is always the sentimental value kind of thing. Yeah. But to me, books are, and the moment I decided to buy that book must have a certain meaning. I think the only one that I can throw away, actually, a week ago, I finally decided to get rid of all my Time magazine.
Okay.
I have so many Time magazine, and I have been saving it. I think I have over 8 years of Time magazines.
Oh, Dorothy, you must be going through some trend. You're getting rid. Things are leaving. Something else is coming in.
Yes.
Because Dorothy is allowing stuff to leave.
Yes. And
allowing stuff to leave.
The reason why I can finally give it up, because I realized in Hong Kong, there are certain people will really want it. Not just go to Zheng Bei.
Yes.
If it just go to Zheng Bei, I felt so bad because every week I have my Time magazine, and it's more like witnessing what's going on with the world, right?
Yes.
How can you get rid of it? So many things happen in the last 8 or 10 years. But now I realize in Hong Kong, there are definitely people who are interested at these kind of old magazines. Okay, and they are willing to come over and pick it up, and it's not just okay, let me weight it, how heavy, and then I'll give you some money to buy it. It's not like that.
No,
they just want to keep it. They maybe some of them they might want to resell it. I don't know, but they're just willing to treat them well. Yeah, very different. Yeah.
Wow. I found magazines sometimes do well in schools. People use extra copies because even if the school has a library, sometimes those middle school kids are not so kind to the things in the library. So an extra copy helps. I found that's the big decision for me. Who can use it? I'm willing to let it go. Books or magazines?
Yes, yes.
Books or magazines. And when I started giving books away, then I found people keep giving me books. Rosann, you gave me such a good book. I really enjoyed it. Here's 2 books that I found I couldn't use. But you like books. So because I was giving books away, I got to the phrase, you like books. So then they started giving me books.
In exchange.
In exchange.
Give away 1, you got 2 back.
Got 2 back. Absolutely, it always happened.
Yeah.
You know, I often talk about the early peoples on the earth because I'm very interested in male-female roles and how women's roles developed and men's roles, and is there some change in the brain or not?
Yeah.
So I talk a lot about that.
Right.
2 weeks ago, a person brought a book to my house that really startled me. It was a book about dinosaurs.
How is it related? Go all the way back to that.
To me, you're always talking about the early peoples. I thought you might be interested in something before the early peoples. And until she said that, I had no interest at all in dinosaurs. But now I have this book
about dinosaurs.
And I will learn about dinosaurs because it's there in my house. Well illustrated.
Yes, yes.
Do you know how many different kinds of dinosaurs there were?
Don't tell me. I'm not interested in dinosaurs.
The exchange of things creates more to the relationship with people.
Yes.
Much more to the relationship with people.
And also, I read quite wide scope.
Yes.
Right. So I have books about death. I have books about birth. I have all kinds of books. And recently I met this new friend, and actually she's a scientist. So she said, no, you don't read a lot. You have no books on physics. I was so afraid. One day she's going to
give you a book on physics. She's going
to. But the thing is about woman then, right?
Yes,
my mother. Yeah. I remember when I was young, I noticed that maybe once every 3 weeks, she'll go to the bookstore and brought a little book back. At that time, those books are more pocket size.
Yes.
And I asked her, what kind of books are you reading, Mom? Oh, love stories, romance. She likes it a lot. She had a lot of little books, and then at that time, there are 2 ways. Either you can rent it if you don't have the money, or the other way, because they're quite cheap, you can buy it. But they'll resell. You can, after you read it, if it's clean, you can bring it back to those old bookstore.
That's right. There used to be
recycle
many used bookshops.
Right.
Right along a sign with the market, and then the toys, and then the clothes, and here's gone.
No, all gone. All
we
gone.
don't have that now.
Right.
Everyone. Cell phone.
Yeah.
People are reading this way.
Yeah.
But it's good they were reading.
Yeah.
It's good they were reading.
So I realized that those women are reading even the romance then, actually because they do read, they become more, how we say, more business oriented, right? Even though they're reading romance, they are not those people that's just doing the sewing and cooking. So women then, if they're willing to read, they can easily move out of the family into a working place because they can read. Yeah, they have the ability to read and write. And also because they like to read, they can gradually move into become a secretary, or like a office assistant. So I think it's so interesting if I ask my classmates then, right, your mom a housewife or your mom working, And most of them, if they are housewife, and I will ask you have books at home, your mother read? Well, a lot of them don't read.
Isn't that that's a good demarcation?
Yeah, maybe it's money. If you don't have the money, you work at you stay home mom, your money you have to save. Yes. Right, for other reasons.
Yes.
But if you're a working woman, you have the money, you can buy, and you read, you have the money. It's like a sort
goes
of
around a cycle.
Right.
Yes.
And enhance the woman abilities.
That's true. That's true. Now, my mother took me to the library a lot.
Yeah.
And she often took out romance stories,
yeah.
Historical novels. She used read historical novels.
novels.
I wondered about it. I really did.
Okay.
I really did. But it's also funny the things people bring to your house because they think you like those things.
Yes.
And I have always been interested in textiles, but somehow that jumped to basketry. So people would visit another country somewhere and say, Rosann, I brought this basket to you. And I'd look at it, it was, okay, whatever possessed you to think of me? But we go from the woven cloth to the woven basket. And somewhere in Southeast Asia, there's pottery on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And basketry on the top.
All right.
Oh, I have a few of those because people saw that and said, oh, Rosann would like that. And I do like the notion of weaving because it's done by hand.
Yes.
And there's a lot of texture to it.
Yes.
Things that are made out of plastic or composites don't interest me at all.
Not interesting.
You pick it up, it has no texture to it, or it has a very smooth texture. So that's not so interesting.
Yeah.
But once you have odd-shaped baskets,
Don't know.
you cannot store them very easily because they do not collapse into each other. It's very challenging. Very challenging.
And when I remember I start to tidy up my place, I think the most dreadful moment is I take out a lot of gifts from friends.
Oh, yes.
And they thought you want it. I have so many gadgets. From one of my cousins.
Yes.
She likes gadget. So every time she go to the States, and you know, you Americans love gadgets, right? She might go to a shop like the Shopper Image, and she just walk in and pick up the latest gadget. And I don't like gadgets. I don't see why I have something that is useless, but it's just fun to put on the table. And I remember recently I start to put them all together. It's 2 boxes of them. And luckily, last year was so close to Christmas, and there was this function, and the organizer said, oh, we have about 40, 50 people. And
we need gifts. Yes.
I gave them all away.
Yes. Re-gifting. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Re-gifting is a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Because it moves stuff through.
Right.
Seems to me, I heard something in feng shui, that if it's sitting still,
it's not good.
For more than a year, it doesn't belong in your house anymore.
Yeah.
It must move.
Yes.
So re-gifting. Take it out of the closets.
Yeah.
Give it away to other people.
And the only way I can get rid of my stuff, and the only 2 ways. One is like in the office these days, the reason why I get rid of all my Time magazine is renovation.
Yes.
And the second thing that I can get rid of my thing is moving. I have to move from one place to another.
Oh, that will do it.
I just cannot afford to bring all those things that I never used to the new place, and I have to put them up again, and those things are going to be in my closet again for another 20 years. I think that's pretty stupid. So I would suggest if you have problem in cleaning up your mess, consider moving or do some renovations. Yeah, that can.
And also, look at what you have. Sentimental value is important.
Yes.
That's how we started. What do we keep? What do we hold on to? So we have this balance now. What do you keep?
Yes.
And what can you let go?
Yeah, we'll come back with that.
Come back with that.
All right.